the purpose here of this vane airflow meter, if you ever run into one, know that this info's here. But I think for us right now, the time would be better served just talking about the extra 2 wires and how it's a fuel pump control, and really more or less just helping us dissect a wiring diagram. So I think that would be the most important part. Then we'll move on to the hot wire stuff. And again, if you ever run into one of these, you have the info here. Let's use the time to review the diagram. So starting at the airflow meter itself, internal, we can see some familiar pieces, right? I see a resistor with a line going through it, which is what on a wiring diagram? What would that be a symbol of? It's a thermistor. It's a thermistor. That's a thermistor symbol. Get used to that. When you see that, actually, I should correct that. Technically speaking, that would be a variable resistor, because you'll see fuel pump sending unit circuits that are drawn like that are not thermistors, but this is a thermistor, okay? And a thermistor uses a signal and a ground, and we said that signal wires are never shared, right? But what can be shared between other sensors? A ground. So right off the bat, without looking at anything down here, I know that this wire is a ground. That's a thermistor, and it's sharing a wire with a potentiometer. This would be a symbol of a potentiometer. When you see a resistor and a needle, wiring diagram symbol of a pot, and they're sharing a wire. They can't share the reference circuit. It's what we just covered, 5-volt reference yesterday. Why can't they share the reference circuit? Do they share a reference circuit in a sense? That's right. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go to my chapter 9 again real quick. We just covered this yesterday, but what I'm asking you guys right now is a thermistor signal wire is technically tapped into the 5-volt reference circuit. My throttle position sensor uses a 5-volt reference circuit, or a potentiometer uses a 5-volt ref. What I'm describing to you is we can't share the reference of a potentiometer with a thermistor. Can we share it with other pressure sensors and other potentiometers? There's my VAF. This is what we're talking about right now, this vane airflow meter. Can I share the reference of the TPS with the reference of the VAF? And the answer is yes. Externally, we can share it, because this stays at 5 all the time. But you cannot take this wire and share it with the ECT. Why? What would it read all the time on the ECT? It would be 5 all the time. We'd be feeding voltage this way. It'd feed voltage this way. This would always be 5. This resistor would be irrelevant. We'd have 5 coming this way, 5 coming this way. The voltage sensing circuit would always read 5. This would still do its job. It would still change resistance with temperature, but we would only have a current flow change, not a voltage change. Because what's the regulator going to do? As the resistance drops of this thermistor, this regulator is just going to pump out more current to keep it at 5 volts. That's what a regulator does. Do you guys understand? We cannot share a reference between a thermistor and a potentiometer externally from the computer. Is it tapped into the same regulated circuit? It is, but that's internal to the computer, and it's isolated by a current limiting resistor. Let's go back to 12. So, do you understand with that conversation, all we're looking at, just keep your eyes focused right here. Don't look beyond that red square. Do you understand that this shared wire could potentially be, we have 2 different sensors, and we can share a reference, we can share grounds, but certain things we can't share a reference with. So what does that make that shared wire in the conversation we just had? This being a thermistor and this being a potentiometer, we cannot share the reference. This has to be, no question about it, it has to be the ground for these 2 sensors. All we're doing right now, I know this is an older design, you may never see one, but that's not the point. The purpose here is to kind of put this together and recognize signal wires, ground wires, reference wires without having to do a ton of research. Just looking at the diagrams all we need with practice. So that's the ground for this circuit. This is the ground. I have this written down below, but we'll write it here. That makes this my thermistor signal. And what is the thermistor in this vane airflow meter? This happens to be an IAT sensor, an intake air temp sensor. That would be the signal wire, that's the ground. And then another clue for you guys would be the pointer on a potentiometer would be your signal wire. So we have 2 wires left, right, on the pot. We have the ground identified already, so we just have a signal and a reference. The signal would be the pointer. And so what's that make this circuit? This is my 5-volt ref. And you can see down below that I have this all identified for you. I have it written down right there. Just a little sensor review. All right, so that's this is actually a 7-pin design. That's 4 of the wires. We're sharing a ground, and then we have 2 extra wires for this. And on this design, it actually operates the fuel pump. So let's use this for 2 things. 1, Toyota still calls their fuel pump relays circuit opening relays. And 2 would be, let's use this again as a diagram review. This will be a nice review of chapter 3, power and ground side switching, and being able to dissect this fuel pump circuit. And maybe someday you'll see one of these, who knows. But let's use this for fuel pump operation. I like to start at a pump, especially when I can see there's a ground wire right here. What does this wire have to be? Power. Has to be a power. Let's follow this, see where it goes. It goes off the page to the fuel pump terminal on the data link connector. That was a under hood data link connector. Then it comes up to here. And so power is not going to come from the data link connector. That means power has to come from this circuit. Does everyone follow that? So that means this has to be a power feed. And then do we draw through that coil or do we stop? So I'm trying to map out this circuit. Where's this power coming from? This is key. This is absolutely key. What does a coil of wire need to work? To make a magnetic field on a coil of wire, what do we need? I need current flow. To have current flow, what do we need? Need to have power, need to have a ground. It's not going to come from this. It comes, follow it over this way, it goes off the page. I have a hot and run giving you that information. But even without following it off the page, if I would have just come up over here and stopped here, I can take this further. What does this wire have to be? No question about it. Ground. It has to be a ground. You guys following this? It's very simple. Practice will help you with this. This has to be a ground. So follow this one. Where is this going? Over this way to this vane airflow meter. Now we know what this switch is doing in this meter. Is this switch is going to ground this coil. Okay? So it has to go to ground. Where's this switch going to ground? We can stay the same color here. Don't necessarily have to switch, because once this switch closes, then these 2 wires are going to be the same polarity. Let's follow this guy, see where it goes. It comes to another splice. This can be difficult. Do we draw through this coil? Nope. Do I draw through this resistor? Nope. Don't do it. What's this coil need to work?
Power.
It needs a power and a ground, right? And what are we saying this green circuit is? It has to be a ground. So even without mapping the rest of this out, which you're going to see goes to a ground, what do I know about this circuit right here? This is a power. Has to be a power. No question about it. This has to be a power. Where's it going? Hot and crank. You guys see how this is working? All right, so let's follow the rest of it. If you didn't know, if you had a question mark here, follow the rest of it. Let's follow this green circuit. Where's it going? Up to here, another splice. Up to this coil. Should I draw through or stop?
Stop.
Gotta stop. What's the other side have to be? This is a ground I'm mapping out. This side of this circuit, right, is going to be a power. But here's your ground right here. So everything that I drew in green, is grounded all the time. Now you could make the argument that this circuit, I like the argument, is not grounded all the time. the one I just kind of highlighted in yellow, because this switch would then control it. But everything else that I have in green here is grounded all the time. Does everyone understand that? Can you see it? So this coil, and this coil have a ground all the time. How are they controlled? We're going to control them on the positive side, power side switched, because they have grounds all the time. This coil has a power all the time and is controlled on what? The ground side. It's ground side switched. The first two are power side. The last one is ground side. So we need this pump to run. For this pump to run, I need my red circuit to have power. For my red circuit to have power, I probably should maybe separate this. Let's make this red and yellow. That's the pump circuit. My red-yellow circuit going to the pump needs to be powered. The red circuit is hot all the time. In the run position, turn the key on, we get power here. I need this switch to close is the point. You see the dotted line between these two coils? So what that tells you is that coil or that coil will close that switch. Either one. So either one that makes a magnetic field will close that switch. This door, airflow meter, it has a pump cutoff switch. When the door is closed, the switch is open. With the door closed, this fuel pump cutoff switch is open. Does everyone understand that? All right, so what do we need for that door to open? I need airflow. And airflow means I need to open the throttle, engine needs to be running. Okay? Now here's the thing with this system. Cranking was not enough airflow to make the door move. So when you crank this engine over, this switch never closes, this coil never energizes, so the fuel pump never gets power. Everyone understand that? I need that door to close. I need that door to open to make that switch close, to make that coil energize. So fuel pump's not going to run. This car has no prime either, by the way. Not all cars have fuel pump primes. We want to remember that moving forward. So I need something else to make this switch close. What makes this close would be this circuit right here. This is, we said, grounded all the time, so it's power side switched. Everyone understand that? What makes this get power? Ignore this. That's a despiking resistor. Your eye shouldn't even look at that later in life with practice. I'm not even worried about that resistor. That's just for despiking purposes. It has no effect on this circuit whatsoever. Follow this down. What do I have listed here? Hot in crank only. So it's an ignition feed. When I hit the key in the crank position, what am I doing? Energizing the starter circuit, but I'm also doing what right here? Sending power up this way, cranking. This has a ground all the time. We've determined that this is a constant ground here. So as long as I'm cranking, does this coil make a magnetic field? And what's it going to do to that fuel pump switch? It's going to close it. So the moment that I crank this, my fuel pump switch closes, and my pump then gets power while I'm cranking. Fuel pump's running. Car starts. Car starts. What happens to the door? Airflow meter door. Door opens. What happens to this switch? Closes. The whole time the door is open, that switch is closed. Now I let off the key, we lose this coil. Does everyone understand that we will lose the magnetic field of that first coil the second I let off the key? Why is that? Because it's hot in crank only. I let off the crank position, the car's running. What just happened? This circuit's hot, was already providing power to the pump, right? We have that drawn here. This leg of the circuit is hot all the time. What did we say about this coil? This side is a switched, it's a switched ground, right? Did we just provide the ground needed for this coil? This switch closed, which did what? Connected this leg of the circuit. I know it's the same color, but follow my ink to what? Ground. So is the car continuing to run? Yes, because this coil took over, made a magnetic field, and is holding that closed. The rest of the time the car is running. What's the safety for this? We need to shut the fuel pump off if the car stalls. We need to make sure that if this car is in an accident and there's a condition where maybe a fuel line gets severed, this is a lead into fuel systems where we're going next week, is we need to make sure our pump does not stay running all the time with the key on. It's dangerous. You don't want to get into a situation where you empty the fuel tank on the ground around you. So we need to make sure if a car engine stalls from, say, a severed fuel line in an accident, that the fuel pump shuts off. Does everyone understand that? This is a non-computer controlled fuel pump circuit. We have to make sure there's still a safety involved. What is the safety? If the engine stalls, if we sever a fuel line and the engine stalls, what happens to the door? The door is going to open, door is going to close. What happens to the switch? The switch opens and then the pump shuts off. Now you get into an accident with one of these and you crush the box and it wedges the door open and you sever a fuel line, you're in trouble. All right, but will you see one of these? Probably not. I don't care. Doesn't matter. What's the lesson? It was a nice review on potentiometers, thermistors, what can be shared, what can't be shared. The reference circuit, the ground. It was also a nice review on power and ground side switching and really how to dissect and read a wiring diagram. Things like what we can draw through and what we shouldn't draw through would be the real takeaway with this.